Hey guys, it is TexAgs Rewind. Dave Nuno, Billy Liucci. One thing I know about Luch, he will not make it awkward and get too close to the show like our buddy Gabe did yesterday.
There's a wall right here.
Yeah.
I promise you I'm not crossing.
Yeah, he's not going to touch me. That I can guarantee. Had a great show. Art Garcia, who went to A&M writing for Sports Illustrated, talked a little bit about ESPN's role in realignment. The Go Hour, we banked on it, and it was a good bank on it. And Liucci talked a little bit about Layden Robinson. You like him?
Yeah. Potential to be really, really good this year. We'll see.
Yeah.
21 and rising.
21 by the way. And also A&M versus Texas. Not on the football field. Luch is excited about that, but the baseball side of things as well.
Should be a hell of a rivalry. Aggies and Horns at least 3 times a year.
There's a lot of laughter going on in the background. We've got a studio audience.
What are you little kids doing back there?
He definitely just tried to end it, and you just awkward pause and kept talking.
It was an awkward end by me.
What is wrong with this guy? As this thing goes on, I'm telling you, you're giving him more power. You're creating a monster. This is Gabe Part 2.
Hey, look at Richard in the background.
Zane's a consummate professional.
He got a lot of airtime this week.
Consummate
We got to slow that down. It's TexAgs Rewind.
I see a bunch of professionals in the room, and I see Bolt in the back.
Now it's really the Rewind.
Longhorn baseball isn't going anywhere. Although I'll say this. That rivalry might be what I'm most excited about.
That's going to be fun.
Is Slosh versus Pierce and the Aggies versus the Longhorns every year, a series, 3 games, maybe more in the conference tournament.
Yep.
I love that rivalry, and I'm going to tell you this. I love A&M getting the best of that rivalry once Slosh and these guys get their footing under them, because I think Texas A&M is going to end up being a better program. I think Slosh is a better coach than Pierce. I've always thought that. There's a reason he was like the 6th choice at Texas. They'll build off this College World Series thing, but I think Schlossnagle will build A&M into a better baseball program, and that to me is going to be a fun one to watch, because I think those are going to. I don't think Texas is not going to be good. I think they're going to be 2 heavyweights duking it out every year. So that A&M LSU Texas kind of baseball thing should get to be really fun.
And Art, you can answer this, but if you believe what people are saying, that and what the Big 12 is alluding to, is that, yes, this was a conspiracy from ESPN, and they probably gave this deal out there thinking, hey, SEC, we'll give you this huge $1 billion deal, and we're going to deliver you Oklahoma and Texas.
I mean, you can't discount the fact that ESPN or any of the networks are going to be involved in all this. I think it's pretty silly on the Big 12's part at this point to be saying, hey, ESPN is making moves behind the scene. Don't they always? I mean, aren't conferences always in cahoots with their media rights partners? The SEC or ESPN and the SEC it's a new marriage going forward, a bigger marriage than it's been before. And I think they want better games, obviously. But to say that something, nefarious was going on behind the scenes, I don't believe that. I think TV partners are always involved in conference realignment and conference moves. They were probably involved 10 years ago. I mean, I'm sure they were when A&M and Missouri moved over. It just makes for a better product for that media rights company. And I think they saw going forward, and we've read about the Big 12, their analysts or their, they've been consulted that their next media rights deal wasn't going to be as lucrative as the one they have now. So that I'm sure that prompted Texas and OU to move. But again, they could have moved anywhere, and the money would have been there. There's a reason they're coming to the SEC.
Art, why do you think Oklahoma is making this move? Because they had it perfectly made for themselves to, without a doubt, the easiest path to a national championship.
Exactly.
In this year, they may be one of those Final Four teams again. Why do you think they made the move?
I don't think OU wanted to be left behind in a conference where, frankly, doesn't prepare them for the playoffs. I mean, they're the only Big 12 team that's gotten into the college football playoffs, I think 4 out of the 7 years. They haven't won a game. So the fact that once they get on that stage, I think with OU, this is more about the on-field product and getting to a place where you can compete and win national championships. I think for Texas, it's more ego. But OU has shown that they can get there. They just can't get over the hump. And if you're playing the Alabamas and LSUs and Georgia and A&M, all these schools week after week, and you win, I think you're better positioned to win a national championship. And I think that's what OU ultimately wants to do. And again, going forward, when we have a 12-team playoffs, there's going to be 5 or 6 teams from the SEC in the playoff. So you can go to the playoff at 9-3. OU right now has to be perfect to get in the playoff. You're not taking the second best team you're not taking a 1-loss team a lot of times from the Big 12. You're not taking the second best team from the Big 12. You don't even have to win your division in the SEC to get in the playoff. And I think OU's seen that path, and that's something that they want to take going forward.
OB?
Well, I'm just going to follow up from our last conversation with Art Garcia, and I'm banking on Bob Bowlesby and the Big 12 doing everything they can to keep Texas and Oklahoma in the Big 12 for the next 4 years. Now, I know Art said that he doesn't think that's going to happen, and I don't know all the numbers. I'm just going by what it seems like to me would be obvious. I don't think that the remaining members of the Big 12 could move to something like the AAC and make as much money in the next 4 years as they would if they were able to force Oklahoma and Texas to stay in the league and to leave, or, again, as long as they can. Maybe they would have to pay both teams pay the $70 or $80 million buyout, and then they would share from that. So that's how they're going to. I think if you do that, if you keep them in at least a couple of years or whatever, and then make them pay that buyout as well, you make more money, I think, than you would moving into a lesser conference.
Okay.
So I think to that end, they're going to do everything they can I'm banking on them doing everything they can to keep Texas and Oklahoma in that league as long as possible.
I'm going to bank on 2 quick hitters.
Okay.
You gave me this one at the break. Anything Mo. Going to just run with it, okay? We know that. That's gold medal standard. We know that. The other one is, my voice cracked there. Oh, look at the puppy. Who's that? Whose dog is that?
No,
it's a beautiful
is
dog.
That Sarge?
And the other one I'm going to bank
Champ?
on is going to be Isaiah Spiller is going to be invited to New York as one of the Heisman finalists. Bank on it, baby.
I could see it.
Why not?
I think he may be the best running back in college football. He's certainly in the discussion.
But for now, it feels about right. He hasn't started. I don't believe he started a game yet. He looked really good. We should have Cole Kubelik on here to talk about him. He looked so good against South Carolina, just demolishing people. And what you saw there, and there you see Haynes King, by the way. What you saw there is Layden Robinson at his best. You see what Layden can do when he's fresh and when he can be physical. This is an incredibly physical guard. He's got enough pop where when he hits you, you go back about to where you are before you regroup. I mean, he'll do that to – you see him on this tape doing it at times to SEC defensive linemen, South Carolina. I mean, knocking them off the ball and then driving them off the ball. He's got incredible punch and power. And as you see him there in his stance. He is a big, wide, sturdy, like you're not moving him. He's 330, but I think he was probably like, just from, I see what guys look, I think he was like 330 in the spring, and that was too heavy. So, I mean, I think at 310, 315, this guy's an absolute beast in the trenches. When he gets heavier, what has tended to happen in his career when he's too heavy is then fatigue will set in, and then the mistakes happen, the mental mistakes, a wrong step, and not so. To me, Layden, if he's gotten in shape during this off season, which you assume he has, and I haven't heard anything to the contrary. I've heard he's actually been putting in a lot of hard work, which is great news for Josh Henson in this O-line, because when he's right and when he's playing his best, it looks like it did against South Carolina. And if he can do that all year, you line him up alongside like a Kenyon Green, and if he and Aki are the 2 guards, that has the potential. Like that's 2 long-time NFL guards. We just don't know about him yet because they haven't played. But so he's a big deal there. He's a big deal because there is competition at guard. Some of these, I think Jordan Moko is going to start off at guard.
Yep.
Bryce Foster can play guard or center. Those dudes physically are ready for the SEC. Now, they haven't played college football, so you don't want them. We saw that even with Kenyon Green. His first half of his freshman year was a real struggle, and he's going to be a first-round pick.
Well, that does it for another week of TexAgs Rewind. Now we're going to ask young Richard what we're supposed to do. Okay.
Hit the like button and subscribe.
I felt his breath on my neck. It was disgusting. And at the same time, it was kind of fun. Make sure you do what he just said. Thanks for watching.